Some of you already read it because it's the first part of the story, From Here to Implicity. For me, I use that title because learning is always from here to implicity. Implicity meaning that place where everything's implicated together. Right? One of the things that's really been a major influence over this whole process has been the studies that I've done and others have done with regard to how it is that children are so engaged in Nintendo. What is it that causes kids to get hooked, to really be sustainably engaged and excited and stretching themselves in different games? The psychology, the anatomy of attention engagement in games. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the thing I'll close with, I guess, is this story that's in the article, which has been a major part of this. My son, Darren, at the age of 5, as it indicates in the article, and I were going out for a walk one night. And normally we don't, I mean, we have marvelous walk and talks of real deep sync, and I mean, they're the most renewing parts of my life. And one day he said, one night as we were going out, he said, "Dad, I want to bring this thing along that I've invented." And this is what it looked like. This is it, actually. Right. And we went out to walk. Forgive me if this is boring, because I know some of you may have just read it, but as we went out to walk, he didn't say anything about it for a while, and then all of a sudden, he pulled this thing out the way Sherlock Holmes pulls out a magnifying glass. Yeah? To look at things through. And he started making all these sounds, you know. Click, click. I'm not going to repeat them. It'd be embarrassing for an adult. But he started acting as if he was the voice and behavior of this little machine, right? And he hadn't explained it to me yet. And I must also add that none of the work that I do, I mean, him and I have dialogue, but we don't talk about all this kind of stuff. We don't talk about it in this kind of language. But he pulled this thing out, and the first thing he did was hold it on a bug. And he went on to show how, to tell me that, you see that? In the visual display, it was showing him the inside of this bug while I was walking. Right? And he described this thing as a radar helper, that what it was a new form of magnifying glass that sent this beam out into whatever it was he was interested in, and then brought back details on everything he was interested in, and that was part of how the antennas worked and the little scanner worked, and it had this visual display and auditory. It's a multimedia magnifying glass with which he could explore anything he was curious or uncertain about anywhere in the universe. He then went to point it at a telephone pole and at a star and just went all around the place with this. A 5-year-old invented this, the idea of it. 5-year-olds want these things. They want a relationship with the world that has this kind of quality. That's why 30 million Nintendo machines have been sold. That's why Nintendo machine is the most popular computer in the world. It's not about the games at the level that people criticize. It's about being responded to. These children are hungry to be responded to. And that's what, if we can do that, if we can unfold the world in a way that allows them to extend themselves, like we were talking about, into the knowledge and meaning space of adult land in a different way than what we were talking about before, about what you were just saying, human potential, I think can go through a leap that's beyond the imagination right now. That the main obstacle to human learning and all that that's relevant to is what and how we learn. It's what and how we learn right now, which is the fundamental obstacle to the human capacity for learning. And that we can change it, and that we'll pick that up after the break. We'll continue.